Hi everyone, Vickie here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. We're going to take a look at the second full moon in Sagittarius in the year 2016. This is at 29 degrees, so that is the very last degree. It's a critical degree. The other one we had was on May 21st, we had a full moon at 1 degree of Sag. So I can't help but think, for many of us in our personal lives, this is like a look back and see how far we've come. Look back to May 21st until this full moon, which is actually on June 6th, or no, excuse me, June 20th at 7:02 a.m. Eastern times, but times will vary. I ran a bunch of charts so I remember to do them 0 areas, and I'm numbering them by the month. So not June 6th, it's the 6th month of June. June 20th, 7:02 a.m. Okay, clarification. Clarification accomplished. But I think it would be beneficial, and I'm going to be doing this myself, to look back at from the 21st, this cycle, from this low degree of Sag into this higher degree of Sag, the highest degree, 29 being the highest degree. Venus is involved in this. It's opposing Venus. And I believe Venus was involved, maybe not in that moon, but it was involved in the last new moon. So it's things of love, you know, love in the heart. And Venus in Cancer, especially now that it's into Cancer, is nurturing, mothering, food, unconditional motherly kind of love, you know, very much traditionally a feminine love. So there's that going on. But, you know, I've been waiting to do this report because I didn't want to get it all be about this shooting stuff and everything. But I do want to talk about it because we do have to talk about it. It's what's happened. And I think that, you know, I felt right away that that guy was gay, the shooter. And that was some repressed stuff on his part. That doesn't justify it. It doesn't, I'm not, you know, giving him any kind of props. But look to the Mars and Scorpio retrograde here. If that's repressed sexuality turns to rage. You know, that's it in a nutshell. Albeit that's the downside of it. You know, there's always a positive and negative, as you know, if you watch these forecasts. But that's it, right there. Mars and Scorpio retrograde, turning this this inner repressed sexuality, or, you know, shame and fear and guilt around sexuality, and turning it into rage, murderous rage, you know. And that's some powerful energy to be messing with. But yeah, I'm going to just say, you know, the bigger picture is Sagittarius is it comes to religion. And I know many of you are religion and have faith, and I'm not trying to knock anybody's faith. But this is why he had to suppress his thing. And not because of the Muslim thing, although, you know, as if you've turned on the TV at all or seen online, you know, they're showing how the Muslims kill, you know, whoever, the extremists, they kill them and stone them and stuff. But then I've also seen memes of Christians marching, you know, with signs, extreme Christians marching with signs saying, God doesn't love you, or God hates you, or some kind of crazy stuff like that. So, and 29 is the nth degree. That is the extreme. So, you can't say, well, that's them. They stone people. They're the bad guys. Well, that's exactly what they say about you. But it's okay. But my religion's okay. You know, my religion's not, doesn't have points in it that is hurting people or oppressing people. Or, you know, it's their religion. Well, that's what they say about you. They say, well, my religion's right and your religion's wrong. So this sticking to this, in lieu of basic humanity. I mean, who comes to marches with signs saying you deserve to die, God hates you? So-called Christians. And I know I don't want to get everybody pissed off. That's why I was so avoiding doing this forecast. But I mean, I'm not trying to get everybody pissed off. And that's not the energy of the full moon in Sag. Certainly not 29 degrees of Sag. That would be the most advanced. The energy of that is to loosen those reins, to expand. Sagittarius rather, is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter's all about expanding our knowledge, expanding our consciousness, going beyond not taking everything verbatim and having it to be, you know, it's written, it's wrote, so it is written. and not growing and expanding and changing as we as a society do. Jupiter, by the way, ruler of Sagittarius, ruler of this full moon, is exactly conjunct now with the North Node, 15:15. So it's time to expand, everybody. North Node, where are we going? What are we striving for? What are we trying to come out of the Piscean ages of the martyrs and into a new age? And Jupiter's there to bring it along. It doesn't mean that we can't have, community and spiritual religion. What's traditionally been the place of religion is an important thing to have. And I'm not saying we should do away with all religions, but there needs to be expansion. There needs to be major expansion on religion and acceptance. Jupiter, ninth house, Sagittarius, Jupiter, all the same energy. Okay, that's why I start rolling these flat wheels. So this ninth house energy, this Sagittarius energy, this Jupiter energy, is about going beyond, expanding past. It's the scholars, it's the religious scholars even. It's expansion of consciousness. It rules foreigners. It rules people who are different from us. The foreign people. Okay, so we've got to be the gay people. Maybe that's foreign to some people, and then we bring in the religious stuff, and then that's foreign, and it's all about them, and this is about uniting. This is about rising above. Sagittarius, Jupiter conjunct the node, full moon at 29 degrees. So this 29 degrees critical degree. Let's talk a little bit about that. Karmically, that's when you've come to the end of your karmic cycle. That's when you learn the lessons of that sign, and you're ready to move on into a lower degree, like a 0 or a 3 in another lesson. Learn the lesson of the other house, or the other planet, or the other sign. So when you get to that 29th, that should be somewhat of a graduation, somewhat of a seniority, somewhat of a wisdom should come with that. And so this full moon is shining a light on that. The other thing I want to mention is 29 Sagittarius in particular is conjunct the galactic center, which is 26 Sag. So it's 3 degrees off the galactic center. It's not on this chart. And the galactic center is just this point. It's the center of the universe. And I don't think that scientists don't even really know what it is. I bring it up a lot because I'm like in tune with that. It's a point that I've been watching and noticing a lot. I have some placements there. My natal moon is there. So it draws my attention to it. And I've been watching and noticing it. And it's a portal, I think. And I find all the time, I'm noticing, I watch it. So when stuff comes by and hits there at 26 Sag, that downloads happen, big downloads, and we're going to have this big full moon there at 29 degrees, right there. So I think there could be some big downloads. There could be some big awareness. I've also noticed, I was doing some research, and that a lot of people who are very highly imaginative, I think Steven Spielberg might have been one, Walt Disney, there's these people, and they have this placements at 26 Sag. So I'm not, because I have my moon there, I'm not trying to group myself in with it's not about self-importance. It's just about, there seems to be this highly imaginative, highly connected, because it's connected to that portal. I believe it to be a portal, that galactic center. Again, nobody really knows what it is. But it's some kind of an energy point. And this full moon being so close to that galactic center, it doesn't matter if you have planets there or not, this could be a big download, a big awakening, And 29 degrees, it's like the tipping point. Are we here, or are we going to tip into the next? Are we going to progress into the next stage? Or do we have more to finish here? We have more to finish here. I'd say, I'm not laughing about it, but just by all the events that's happening. And by the way, anybody may do astrocartography, what is going on with Orlando? I mean, there was a singer shot, then this mass shooting, and then there was the alligator thing, which reverts back to what I was talking about the bear, too, or the gorilla, whatever it was. You know, these animals, it's not meant to be that way, but I don't want to go off on that tangent. So, but that was just a little side note. It's like, is there some kind of major I can run astrocartography charts, and I have a very basic sense of interpretation of them, but maybe there's somebody out there who really understands that stuff, and if so, you know, do a video or leave it in the comment or something. I'd like to hear about that. But back to this chart. Yeah, so it's an integration to me, because Venus is involved. It could be an integration of the Cancerian energy of, you know, Venus and Cancer. That's mother's love. That's the great mother love right there. Whether it's Mother Earth, okay, but it's for, you know, for opposed, you know, the Jupiter, the foreigners, having compassion and understanding for, and I'm not talking about that particular guy, the guy who did the shooting. I'm talking about people who have different beliefs than you, or different lifestyles than you. And not go by some old paradigm stuff from thousands of years ago, when the state of the world was a very different place then. And that includes religion too, because this stuff, the minute you say ISIS, everybody's got their, you know, their dander up about, oh, it's the extreme Muslims and all that again too. This goes about religion big times. More than anything, it goes by religion, 9th house. Aquarius would be more the energy, would be more the humanitarian and, you know, being for all. This is about our higher belief systems. This is about the other person. Saturn is there also. Saturn is making a journey through there. So this is going on for, I don't know, at least another year or so. I think Saturn stays in, what, about 2-3 years or something. So by the time that Saturn's in there, and Saturn's retrograding too, we got to look at this stuff. We got to look at this stuff. It's not gonna, you can't stay in your own old polarized way. And then Saturn is opposing Mercury at this time too. See, Saturn retrograde is old paradigm, old paradigm, old paradigm. You know, Saturn is old paradigm, retrograde is the past. You know, it's not in really, but they're kind of together over here. This Mars, this inner anger and everything, and then, you know, Saturn is the paternal, you know, the religions of our ancestors, and or the thinkings or the teachings, 9th house teachings of our ancestors, and it's about breaking away from all that. And this is squaring with Jupiter in the North Node. It's like it's time to break out of that old stuff. There is this big cluster there. These have been there, but then we've got in Pisces over here, but then we've got the Pallas over here too. So Pallas has joined the Pisces pack over here, and opposing the Jupiter North Node, we've got Pallas, Neptune, South Node, Chiron. You know, I talk about this every video. It's about those healing of those old wounds. The other thing that's coming into play exact here is Ceres, goddess of the grain, is conjunct Uranus in Aries. Aries ruled by Mars, the warrior energy. Ceres, though, Mars is going to fight for what they want. Mars is the warrior, the protector. So it's about fighting for what you believe is right. Uranus, so it's going to be unpredictable, but it's also going to involve technology, and you know, everything's online these days, so that brings that in. But I like that Ceres is joined into here too, because Ceres is the nurturer as well. It's the goddess of the grain. It's feeding people, feeding them, nurturing. Venus in Cancer, feeding, nurturing. So there's this element of being a warrior for love, even, maybe, you know. Being a warrior for forgiveness, for understanding, for tolerance. Understanding, learning, 9th house, learning about the other. Learn about things before you spout off about it. Mercury. And just run your mouth before you know what you're talking about. Do some research. That's 9th house too, research, you know. They used to say read a book, but now it's, you know, look online, Google it, get more information. Read read all points of view, but then you've got to resonate, because there's so much false news out there too now. There's so much false news. You know, it used to be Harry Reasoner, this is 6 o'clock news and, you know, whatever. And you could pretty much, everybody kind of thought that was what it was. But now there's so many, you know, false reporting. There's lots of it. So how do you decipher the truth? I mean, you could probably look online and find just as much for one side as you can for the other. So it's going to ultimately come down into the Pisces energy of feeling it. What feels true, what resonates. Not in your mind. Don't get your dander up. Don't get your anger going. And fear and anger. And in your mind, got to figure it out in your mind. Drop down into your feelings. And sometimes I'll just have a laugh. I'll get myself all caught up in this stuff. Or I'll talk to somebody who's real. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then I get by myself and I'm just like, what? Usually in the shower, washing dishes, or, you know, it'll just, that'll come resonate, it'll filter through again, that conversation, and I just sort of laugh at myself. Look how you got caught up in that stuff for a second there, you know. And is that true? You know, it's the old Byron Katie thing about, is it true? But it ultimately, you know, the Pisces energy is going to be about the feeling. And it's also about healing these old wounds that go back to the whole Piscean age, the whole age of martyrdom. So there's a lot going on here. Anything else we want to talk about quickly here? Let's look at the aspectarian. Yeah, the only thing that's happening is it's making an aspect to Venus. It's actually those sextiling Juno here, because I don't have the asteroids aren't listed in the aspectarian. So here we go. Moon sextile Juno and square Chiron too. Well, again with the Juno is the feminine, you know. It's the beauty. She was the goddess of beauty, or the queen of the gods' beauty. It's very much the elegant lady, you know, that kind of vibration around here. Well, the elegant lady doesn't go in and start spewing out God hates fags or whatever the hell they're saying, you know. That's not very elegant, okay? And in the sign of Libra is even more so like that. That gives it this air of diplomacy or fair, try to be fair, and not be ugly, you know. Don't be ugly with one another. Don't hate. Don't be ugly like that. You know, in your spirit, I mean, you know. Don't be ugly like that. So, anyways, let's go with this Jupiter node. It's propelling us into the future. In the sign of Virgo, yes, we have to scrutinize about a lot of stuff. Squaring Saturn in Sagittarius. Number one thing is our religious beliefs. There also are schools and stuff too. Schools, higher learning. Foreigners. We got to get in there and look at the details. We got to get in there and scrutinize. It's a T-square with Virgo too. Actually, that's that Grand Cross thing is still happening in the mutable. Well, as I said in the last one now, the mutables are malleable. They're willing to transform. So I think this is, if it has to be these planets involved, Saturn involved and everything, in a mutable sign is not the worst. There could be a lot of worse things, right? So it's about transmuting. This is where I'm drawn. This is where I want to go with the energy. This 15-15. So we've progressed from the 14-14 and now we're into the 15-15. Just as I said in the beginning, how these numbers, it's 29 and then you go, you progress. So it seems like there's an opportunity for some kind of progression, some kind of a leap to happen here. Especially with this 29, especially aligned with the Galactic Center. Bring in the element of Venus and Cancer. Be the nurturer, help. What can I do to help? What can I do to heal? How can we have a healing? That's very strong here with these planets. And it's been strong with the Chiron in Pisces with the North-South node. Anyway, so that's my take on it. A lot going on. Trining Pluto too, that's the last thing too. This no Pluto trine here. This could be changed for the better. It really could. And Mars also is violence and guns and stuff like that too. And banning assault rifles is not going to take your handguns away from you. Bush didn't allow that in '03 or something. I don't want to get into politics. I'm not trying to start a political argument. I really am not. But we got to analyze and scrutinize these long-standing things of our forebears, and bring it more into the future, into the modern day. Inclusive, being inclusive and tolerant of other people. All right, I think I said enough. Hey everybody, don't forget to go to my main channel. If you hit this upper corner on your screen, you should be taken to this page. It shows all my stuff that I have. Got the decks out, books, astrology reports. This year ahead, I thought it was only about 20 pages. The rest of them are. It's like 40 to 60 pages. So it's a big report. You know, it's a whole year, every aspect for the whole year with interpretation. And then I am open for the soul readings. Again, this is that in-depth look at your chart from an esoteric point of view. And there it is. I had it. There it goes. And this is kind of what it might look like. You know, I kind of draw on your chart and talk about stuff. It's karmic astrology. It's not if some guy's going to call you next week. It's not a predictive thing, okay? It's deep. It's real deep. Talks about your soul, where you've been, what you're trying to accomplish in this life. I look at key karmic things in it, and I'm getting great feedback about it. People are into it. It's not for everybody. It's very deep. So if you want to take it to another level, you might want to check that out. In the meantime, with the moon here, let's get on these downloads. Let's vibe to that galactic center. Let's come from a higher place of Sagittarius. How far have we come even in the last month, from the 21st of May until now? Look back on that. And I love hearing all your comments about these kind of things when they pop up. Okay, everybody, thank you guys for liking, sharing, donating, commenting, everything you do to help my channel. Buying all my wares helps keep these videos free. Remember, you're love and beauty incarnate. Have a great full moon in Sag, and I'll speak to you soon.